G'day YouTubers, you might be forgiven for thinking that we are sitting here in South Africa somewhere on the Platteland maybe, but with all of these good things, but in fact we're not. We are deep undercover. In fact in Auckland, so deep undercover it's just not true. South Africans in Auckland, we are here making a video to give you some information on surviving the big move, eh?
The big move, yeah.
Indeed. First of all, by way of introduction, who we are. This is
Ethel.
I'm Alan. And it's the two A's.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Alcoholics Anonymous.
or not. We've hidden the drinks. We might even have to edit that out. Right, who we are not. We are not migration agents. We are simply two very ordinary citizens. No backjack from you lot, eh? We are just simply ordinary oaks that have come from South Africa. We've elected to move. We want to provide some helpful tips and guidelines. We are not authorities. We won't be helping you fill out your forms. We are just going to be offering some helpful tips and what you can expect to find in your new country.
Yeah. And we're not going to ask you for money either.
No, we're not. This is free.
It's for free. You
Yes.
just a little of our experience out on the table so people can sort of see where we went wrong or see where we went right and just sort of help.
A very
them
good point,
yeah.
yes. If you would like to donate, our Swiss bank account. No, it's not. No, this is completely free. We are not soliciting in any way. This is simply just a service to anybody who's wanting to make the move. Why are we doing this? I'm going to ask you the question, and you might be asking yourself, why move from South Africa? Why are we uprooting ourselves? It is a tremendously traumatic and what did you call it? A traumatic event in your life. And in all probability there was a lot of upheaval. Now Ethel, quick question, but what was the things that precipitated your move from South Africa?
Well, you know, you open your front door one morning and you realise where you live and how you live. And you look into your future and you ask yourself, you know, where am I going to be in 10 years' time? Where am I going to be in 20 years' time? But the big question is where your children going to be in 10 years' time, where your children going to be in 20 years' time. When you look at the opportunities that your children have, they're just such a lot less than what we had. And you know, you send your child to university, you could spend up to R500,000 on education, and then they get a piece of paper for that R500,000, and it's not worth the paper it's written on. Where do they take it? So many countries now don't even accept a degree from a South African university. Absolutely. And you've got to ask yourself the question, why? When you look at the opportunities of, you know, what type of job are they going to get? Are they going to be able to afford a home? Are they going to afford to be able to have a family? Would they want to have a family in a country with a murder rate and everything else that we struggle with? Are they really going to want to live there? And at their ages you have a chance to make a decision for their security, for their safety, for their future. And that was really the reason. I was doing fine. I had a good job, I was getting good money, I had all the reputation and what have you, but I didn't see anything for my children. I didn't see and because there wasn't.
Correct.
In reality there is not.
We can look at, we can debate endlessly, and we won't be doing that, but broad-based black economic empowerment, BBBEE, the law that has come into South Africa post-1993, that might have had honourable intentions of levelling the employment playing field. It's not doing that anymore at the moment. It is a discriminatory thing. That's my personal view on this. And we can see by the value of the South African economy that it has not done the economy one jot of good. It has in fact done it a whole lot worse. As I say, we can debate that endlessly, and there are people who will still defend that. We're not here to debate all the merits of that, but I agree with you. And like Ethel, what precipitated us to move was plain and simple economics. My wife and myself were finding ourselves with increasingly diminishing prospects of employment. We are both IT professionals. My wife is a network engineer, a Cisco certified network engineer with a security specialization, and I'm an old programmer, in fact, so old I knew dinosaurs personally, very old. But yeah, we found ourselves out of work most of the time, and having to grab at straws and then bring in ad hoc work. We found this to be a wholly unacceptable scenario, and that was one of the precipitating factors. Another thing obviously was crime. What we're not going to do is we're not going to give you a whole lot of sensational claptrap about the war stories of how crime has affected us. You know that, we're not telling you something you don't know. You know that the government is as corrupt as the day is long. We're not giving anybody any revelations on that. So yeah, those are the things that were the motivating factors for us. Your future for children, crime, economics, and so on. You will have to work those things out in your own mind, because for every immigrant from South Africa into New Zealand, and that goes for any other country, we are fourth on the list of the amount of immigrants into New Zealand, I beg your pardon. The biggest quantity of immigrants into New Zealand are British, Asian folk, Indian folk, and then South Africans. There are currently approximately 60,000 South Africans in New Zealand at the moment, and they all seem to be congregating around the North Shore. But there are 60,000. That's a huge contingent. That's one whole rugby field, stadium full of people. And
over a population of 4.5 million.
Correct.
It's not like a drop in the ocean. Over a population of 4.5 million, it's quite a few people.
It's quite a few, yes. Yeah. It's almost as many as there are sheep. No. Yeah, but the fact is that there's a huge contingent. There is a large South African culture and a growing South African culture in New Zealand. So yeah, it's a good thing. We are very happy. Now, the next question you might be asking is how, yes, we want to get out. How do we go about it? I try to do it cheaply. Yeah. I try to do it informally. I try to do it on my own. I also looked at other countries. I looked at Australia, and Australia is a great destination. Not saying anything bad about them. I don't care what anybody else says about them. They're not a bad bunch. And of course, if you come over here, just be prepared for people to teach you to play rugby, especially if you're South African. But yeah, we tried doing it on our own, and we lost. Eventually we found a company by reputation, actually, called Migrate to New Zealand, and owned by a couple called Sharon and Ian Yearman, and they are experts in their field, and we approached them and we initiated the procedures.
We'll give them the website address,
yes,
as well, so people can have a look at the website.
Absolutely. If you have a look down here, there, you'll see their website address. Sharon and Ian, Sharon is a migration expert.
She's doing it for over 20 years.
That's right, yes.
She doesn't know about it, probably.
It's not worth knowing.
Yeah.
What we have found between the two of us, we found some, let's use the word, I don't like using buzzwords, but bad mouthing. There's companies in New Zealand here which seem to bad mouth others. Now, you don't raise yourself up by putting others down. You raise yourself up by building yourself up. It takes hard work. And I have to say that Ian and Sharon have been very professional in their outlook. Would you agree with that?
I think there's not only professional, but they take it personally as well. They take your journey personally. And every one of the people that I know that have gone through them, they've had the same treatment. It's not just business. They take it personally. They take a personal interest in your family. They took a personal interest in me and my family and the trauma we went through. So my children are, well, one is here for now, and the only reason I got him here was because of the work that Sharon put in, and that was work that she wasn't paid for. She just did it because she had a personal attachment to me,
There we go.
and my family.
Yeah, as I say, we're not going to benefit in any material way by recommending Sharon and Ian. We are simply saying this is what we did. I'm going to be asking you just now, Athol, how you got to hear about Sharon and so on.